The UN Climate Change Summit comes to a close. One European nation stands out for the strides it has taken to convert from fossil fuels to renewable energy sources.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we will be talking about Denmark, and specifically the $34 billion green energy island. Denmark is a Scandinavian country comprising the Jutland Peninsula and numerous islands. It's linked to nearby Sweden via the Øresund Bridge. Copenhagen, its capital, is home to royal palaces and colorful Nyhavn harbor, plus the Tivoli amusement park and the iconic Little Mermaid statue. Odense is writer Hans Christian Andersen's hometown, with a medieval core of cobbled streets and half-timbered houses. Denmark has approved a plan to build an artificial island in the North Sea that will be a hub to hundreds of offshore wind turbines, 260 meters tall, that will generate 10 gigawatts, enough energy for 10 million households. The first stage will be the size of 18 soccer pitches for 3 gigawatts, costing $34 billion, and should be operational by around 2033. Writing for the World Economic Forum, Douglas Broom says that the ultimate goal of 10 gigawatts should be more than enough for the whole of Denmark. The spare capacity will be used both to sell on to other nations and to create green hydrogen from seawater. Large batteries on the island will also be used to store surplus electricity. The sheer scale of the project can be a driver for multiple technologies and a model for other coastal nations as global offshore wind installations continue to rise. Ambitious projects like this are needed if the EU wants to hit its renewable electricity targets and increase offshore wind energy capacity 25-fold by 2050. Broom ends by quoting the chairman of Ørsted, the wind farm major, as saying that offshore wind should also be seen as an opportunity to work with other ocean-based sectors like mariculture and fisheries. Denmark, the nation that built the world's first offshore wind farm, has agreed to an ambitious plan for another global first, an energy island in the North Sea which could eventually be capable of supplying energy to a history-making 10 million homes. The move will create a critical boost to the world's offshore wind capacity. The first hub-and-spoke energy scheme will involve building an island 80 kilometers off the Danish coastline to act as the transmission center for hundreds of wind turbines surrounding it. At $34 billion, it's the largest construction project in Danish history. The world's first energy island will be as big as 18 football pitches, 120,000 square meters, but there are hopes to make it 3 times that size. It will serve as a hub for 200 giant offshore wind turbines. It is the biggest construction project in Danish history, costing an estimated 210 billion kroner. Situated 80 kilometers out to sea, the artificial island would be at least half owned by the state, but partly by the private sector. It will not just supply electricity for Danes, but for other neighboring countries' electricity grids too. Although those countries have not yet been detailed, Professor Jacob Ostergaard of the Technical University of Denmark told the BBC that the UK could benefit, as well as Germany or the Netherlands. Green hydrogen would also be provided for use in shipping, aviation, industry, and heavy transport. Under Denmark's Climate Act, the country has committed to an ambitious 70% reduction in 1990 greenhouse gas emissions by 2030 and to becoming CO2 neutral by 2050. Last December, it announced it was ending all new oil and gas exploration in the North Sea. Energy Minister Dan Jorgensen said the country was simply changing the map. "This is gigantic," Professor Ostergaard told the BBC. "It's the next big step for the Danish wind turbine industry. We were leading on land, then we took the step offshore, and now we are taking the step with energy islands, so it'll keep the Danish industry in a pioneering position." Green group Dansk Energy said that while the dream was on the way to becoming a reality, it doubted the North Sea island would be up and running by the planned 2033 start date. But Danish politicians around the spectrum have given their backing to the plan. Former Energy Minister Rasmus Helveg Petersen of the Social Liberal Party said energy islands had begun as a radical vision, but there was now a broad agreement to turn it into a reality. A smaller energy island is already being planned off Bornholm in the Baltic Sea, to the east of mainland Denmark. Agreements have already been signed for electricity to be provided from there to Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands. Last November, the European Union announced plans for a 25-fold increase in offshore wind capacity by 2050, with a five-fold increase by 2030. Renewable energy provides around a third of the bloc's current electricity needs. According to the EU, offshore wind supplies a current level of 12 gigawatts. Denmark supplies 1.7 gigawatts. The new island would supply an initial 3 gigawatts, rising to 10 over time. The smaller Bornholm Energy Island would provide 2 gigawatts. While there is some secrecy over where the new island will be built, it is known that it will be 80 kilometers into the North Sea. Danish TV said that a Danish energy agency study last year had marked two areas west of the Jutland coast, and that both had a relatively shallow sea depth of 26 to 27 meters. In 2021, Denmark presents the second voluntary national review. Globally, Denmark is at the forefront of sustainable development, according to the SDSN, and has successfully implemented numerous sustainable development goals, but there are still important challenges to face. Further action is needed. The VNR is coordinated by the Ministry of Finance and prepared by combined work of all ministries and stakeholders in the Danish society. A significant improvement of the second VNR relates to the inclusion of two independent assessments of the progress on each SDC by government officials as well as civil society actors. It also includes uncensored chapters written by actors of the parliament, civil society, the private sector, organizations, academic institutions, municipalities, and regions. Another new element of the VNR is a peer review process with Norway. The review also builds on newly established institutional mechanisms and research. In 2018, Statistics Denmark launched a unique statistical database that allows for monitoring of the development of the SDGs. This work provides a necessary tool for the follow-up of the assessments. According to the assessment of the government, Denmark is in a strong position in relation to many SDGs, especially in terms of health and well-being, education, sustainable energy, peace, justice, and strong institutions. Denmark's key challenges relate to responsible consumption and production, as well as climate action, and further attention is needed to improve life in the ocean and life on land. As a nation with an ambitious green agenda, Denmark feels significantly responsible contributing to the green transition, as well as assuming global responsibility and collaborate on long-term sustainable solutions with other countries. The VNR is based on two fundamental principles of transparency and involvement, which is reflected in the scope of stakeholder engagement. The VNR demonstrates how civil society, the private sector, organizations, academic institutions, municipalities, and regions continue to integrate the SDGs into their core strategies. Thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing with notifications turned on. Like the video as well, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye!